Alright, looks like time is limited. I was trying to make sure they were paying attention, so I went ahead and wasted a good portion of the morning just getting all the rest I needed to be able to get my ass back up and do it again. And here I go, getting ready to do it again. So, booth monkeys, huh? When I said at the beginning that this story is cursed, I may have been exaggerating, but no, I don't think that's true. Because the moment I began working on this movie is the moment that the COVID seemed to sneak into my life. And up until this point, I always thought COVID was just short for a covert observational study of individuals, video being of individual discrepancies between shared madness, where we were all just putting on masks for some reason and watching weird news programs. And never thought COVID was a full sickness until I decided to make this movie and got sick. Hello, Internet. Mr. BPG here. And time has passed, and it's time for episode 2. Coming out of that montage, basically showing off the movie theater, showing off what the whole operation was. It was an operation with young, underpaid employees who were there just to spend their weekends serving food and drinks to people coming to watch the best movies of the age. And we were hardworking people. We were doing our thing, but, you know, up in the booth, we were all, way up in the booth, we were doing our thing. We were running our projection booth, and we were in charge of making sure everything got on screen. So upon the end of the opening credits, we see Ed standing at the projector. He pushes the green button, turning it on. The lamp inside the vacuum-cooled box flashes, and the gears turn up to speed. The blue tape, the film is at the beginning of the film, turns into black movie film, and it rolls into the projector. Ed turns a lever down that allows light to strike the film. Cut to the interior of the theater house. Early morning, the lights in the theater go dark, and a coming soon ad hits the screen. In the very back of the theater, behind the glass, next to the bright glow of the projector, we see the Ed character watching the screen as the movie trailer is played. Exterior, booth, back door, later. Dre and Ryan meet at the back door. They enter into the theater building. A busy mall parking lot is filled with people walking in the background. So I want to establish we are back in time, and we are now at the mall when it was populate. Not like it is now, where we're under Depression-type era times. Interior booth later. Ryan and Dre walk down the long hallway past all the projectors. Everything is on and running. I want to show all these machines moving at full speed, and just that beautiful one take moving across all these projectors working at once, and sort of how they work quietly on their own once we did all the hard work of getting them loaded. Dre's carrying a box of popcorn with a plastic crossbow in the other hand. Dre also has 3 large cups in stacks. Ed is now fully clothed, sitting at the table. In the booth area, they have that table we mentioned, and he's playing solitaire with a deck of cards. Ryan sits across from the table from Ed, where Dre goes across the room to set up 3 cups into a pyramid of 3 cups. God, I don't know how to read. I read too fast. So all of the movies are running, says Dre. Time to find out who has to stay here for the rest of the day. All right, Ed, I'm the oldest, so I get the first shot. Ed takes the crossbow right out of Dre's hand, loads a small Nerf gun into it, or Nerf dart into the crossbow. He then shoots across the room and takes out the stack of cups moments after Dre is finished setting up the last cup. The idea being here that this is a game they would play where, after all 3 of them spent the whole night running projectors, 2 of them get to go home and sleep, and 1 of them gets to stay there and make sure the projectors stay on, foreshadowing what's going to happen next. Ed passes the crossbow to Dre, who turns his attention back to the card game. That's Ed. Dre takes his shot at the cup stack, but it misses. Dre joins Ryan at the table, brings the crossbow with him, and he turns the crossbow over to Ryan. Ryan to Ed. How's it going, Ed? Ed, not that good. I can't get that stupid Ace of Base song out of my head. Dre, that sucks. Ryan says, yeah, I hear that's a form of cancer. Foreshadowing. You should have that checked out, says Dre. Yeah, you want us to call the hospital? I can drive. And then a voice is heard through a speaker. Now, we used to communicate to each other through radios, so there are radios and the radio will be off and someone will shut off for the speaker. Ed number 8 is out of focus. But Ed doesn't even move. He just puts another card down on the table because he's back to his game. He knows that his shift is over. It's on the 2 projectionists still playing to see who has to stay and who's going to go fix it. Ryan, are you going to answer that? Ed pucks up at the walkie-talkie and says, no, it's not. I just started it and I know it looks fine. Supervisor, well, the customer told me that it's out of focus. Can you please go check? We know you did it when you started, but, this is just to keep them happy. Ed replies, tell them to put on their glasses because it's in focus when I started it. Supervisor, fix it now. I'll get right on it. This being a common occasion of calling up to the booth and asking them for something from us, and depending on how busy we were, was how fast we would fix it. And most of the time it was something stupid or something simple or something that either couldn't be fixed or was an easy fix, slightly out of focus, this or that. In this case, the joke is there was nothing out of focus, and Ed, the old projectionist, who had been working all night with these young guys, was trying to teach these young guys, I already played. I already scored. I'm going home. I'm just finishing my game. Literally, it's on them to answer. And the point is that these young guys don't get that, and it will pay off later with the foreshadowing. Ed says he'll get right on it, but he stays seated. Dre, move the King of Hearts. Hey, the game is called Solitaire for a reason. All right, Ryan, is there any work left to do? Trying to get a recap from Ed? He says, I don't think so. All the film projectors need to be reloaded. All of last month's film prints are broken down and ready to ship out. And there is 3 metal hexagonal cans with the movie title 6 Golden Bananas printed across the top. Couldn't help myself. The 6 hexagonal cans are the way they used to transport film. They used to transport them in these metal tins, and those films would either be in tins or boxes, and they would be shipped with either titles or fake titles on them. At the beginning of the run, we would build them up like we showed at the beginning of the movie, and at the end of their run, we would tear them apart and put them back in the box or can and ship them back off to the manufacturer. So, these are just referencing all of the work that would have been done that day, sort of kind of going over in a brief introduction to what it was like in the booth on one day of the week, our busiest day of the week. And kind of a stripped-down version of letting the fans behind the scenes. There's also a stack of plastic cases next to the film cans. Jerry says, I got a box of commercials plus the Coke spot that's being swapped this week. And Ed just says, why don't you guys get out of here? I'll keep the machines running until the second shift. And then that gives them an excuse to run. I guess Ed decided he was just going to stay. Because the truth is for those union guys, when they had their booth, they had their own private bathroom. They had a kitchen. They had everything. We could sleep. Ed kind of knows what's up. Sometimes you got a good place to stay at work, you stay at work. So, interior of the Zentryway, moments later. Now, the Zentryway is an idea we come up with where Ryan and Drabe are putting on robes that they were wearing, and they're putting them away and switching into their outdoor shoes. This room is a theoretical room that I always wanted to design, which was a dust-free room where you would take your clothes and put them in a locker and then switch to your gown, like I did at certain lab, and get into your sterile, clean booth environment. And it was more of in the production design of this, it's very Zen-oriented, movies, posters, and then a couple of lockers, and then places where they hang their work robes, and then their things. So that was one of the things I wanted to show, was these guys were wearing work robes the whole time. All right, this room acts as a way to limit the dust brought into the booth, and ousting respect to the world it takes to make these dreams happen on screen. I don't even know what I was writing there. So Dre and Ryan talk some more. Remind me why we have this extra 5 minutes of time each time we go out of the booth. And here's where Ryan explains, well, the Zentryway limits dust into the booth by us. Plus, the artwork is supposed to put you in the mindset to respect the work it takes to put these dreams that happen on screen. Oh, yeah. I thought it was an excuse for his natural way of working. But anyways, once stressed up, let's make it a joke to being naked and just having a robe on. Anyways, interior, exterior car. Dre and Ryan drive past many small businesses run from old buildings. Lots of family-owned shops. Life was great, says Dre in voiceover again. I had a great job. It was a career job. I had decent pay, benefits, and I worked along with my best friend. Back then, they paid us to put the final movies together and watch them to ensure quality. We worked weekends, split up weekdays. It really was the best job ever. As again, back exterior apartment day, Dre and Ryan are pulling into their parking spot at the entrance to their complex. There is a delivery van with a person moving boxes from a dolly. As the boxes wobble, they pull the dolly up to the curb and the box falls off. Zach, a 21-year-old, sets down the dolly and then kicks it out of his leg, kicks the box up in the air, saving it from hitting the ground. He then uses his other foot to kick the box towards Dre. Dre, using his football reflexes, quickly kicks the box up in the air, slapping it at Ryan, and then it slaps Ryan in the face, because Ryan didn't have those reflexes. Ryan was going to be the nerd of the story, as we'll find out as we get into this part of the story. I gotta stop interrupting myself. Okay. Oh, look at that. That was the delivery for you, Ryan. That was one hell of a delivery, wasn't it, says Zach. Yeah, thanks, Zach. No problem. Did you get those old movies ready for me at the theater? Oh, yeah, you know it. Great. You guys are going to give me a hernia with those heavy-ass cans. You're probably just moving them the wrong way. Well, how do you move them? And now we're going to do a cutaway joke where interior booth stairwell at the top of a 2-3-story building. Dre and Ryan are standing at the top level, and they use their feet to gently nudge those hexagonal film cans I told you about earlier. And then the cans start to slowly roll down the steps, making louder and louder thumps until they finally crash into the floor, and then boom. The noise goes down the stairwell 3 stories high, and they crash hard and loud into the door, and the door has so many scratches and dents from years of this process being repeated, and then they just sort of laugh at each other and go back to exterior apartment day, where they say, we roll them. Yeah, we roll them, says Dre. That's why they come in that shape, you know. Oh, yeah, you can roll them where you want, and then you lift them, says Dre. Oh, you guys are so smart, says Zach. Kind of a dumb joke, but I need some word jokes in there on top of all the visual jokes I'm trying to squeeze in. So they enter their apartment complex. Interior apartment moments later. Dre and Ryan walk in while saying goodbye to Zach as he continues down the hallway to finish his deliveries. The guys live in a standard 2-bedroom apartment with middle-class furnishings, so set to the time period, the early 2000s, there's bookshelves with DVDs and small nerd-style toys. The kitchen is directly to one side of the table and chair set, and the other. Dre walks in, leaves his keys on the table near the door. He kicks off his shoes and runs and jumps on the couch. Ryan takes off his shoes, goes to the fridge, takes out a couple of those bottles of soda. They hand off a root beer. Dre joins him on the couch. Ryan joins Dre on the couch. I should run around. And they open their bottles, tap the tops together, and then Ryan opens the box that was delivered to be a new toy. He's going to take that toy out and put it on the shelf, and we are going to make sure there's a production design note that toy is foreshadowing. So time begins to ramp and fast forward as Ryan sets down the figurine, because this is where the tiredness of working from about 4 in the afternoon to about 7 or 8 in the morning starts to kick in. And you sort of just slow down to the beer, or in this case, the root beer. But they return to the couch. He goes off to the bathroom before ending up in bed. Dre spends half his time on the couch drinking and thinking, and then he spends some of his time working, just writing, just doing what I do when I pray on time, just write. Trying to create with the time I have left when I'm not giving it to where I'm being paid for my time, which is, again, is the greater message of this movie that I'm trying to get to. Mary interrupts this part to skip to the part where we met Mommy. No offense, but the way you're talking, your life was kind of boring back there, Dad. And Dre says, well, I can't just skip ahead to meeting your mom. First, you must learn about the unfortunate series of events that led me to meet your mom. It's time to meet the villain of the story. And this is basically where I'm trying to get to with this part 2 is Vet Tech. Get that vet snake in there. Vet Tech. Vet Tech, baby. Get some shadows. Work on that. Okay, fuck it. Ed takes the crossbow, passes it back to... There's another Dre there. God, if I cannot find all of these typos this time, I am done. So, Vito is the name of the character originally when I was writing it. Really? Dre is the name of my best friend growing up, and the one that I based this when I named my title character after. And Dre is also basically me and my life experience through this movie. And then hopefully what Dre brings, his comedy, his life experience. And together we're going to make something out of this as we continue to build on this. Right now it's a project of one. And I'm going to take it as far as I can take it and then see where we go from there. Anyways, part one, as we talked about, was setting up the setting, showing off where we are inside of time and space. And now we're trying to get into the characterization. So we're seeing the two guys in their life and the foreshadowing of what's coming next as we are introduced to the villain and the conflict. So as we come back to the next episode, I'll talk more about that later. So that's where I wrap up the script portion and just do the direct to camera. And man, COVID is some bullshit. I'm telling you. I came home after that first day and thought, man, I'm going to take a couple days off from my work. I ain't going to have to care for nobody. And all I'm going to do is care for myself. I'm going to put myself up in front of this computer, and then I'm going to do nothing but write and work and produce. And boom, man, I thought I was done. I was sleeping. I was sleeping so hard. And then the cough kicked in, and that's when I knew it was COVID, and I tested for it. And I didn't appreciate that cough because I had spent all of the week doing everything I could to avoid getting sick, not even spending time with my loved ones. I constantly wash my hands, blow my nose, keep my shit clean, and it finally caught up to me. And like I said, it's kind of ironic in a way because I have been living for the entire time of COVID and never really got sick. Even when it started, when COVID was first a thing, I was literally out there cleaning up y'all nasty shit. You won't believe how nasty some of the shit it was. In fact, that's why that's coming up later in the movie, some of the nasty shit y'all up to. I ain't begin to tell you what a sheets is. God damn it, a sheets a motherfucker.